So let's talk about Elon Musk. Most people think his incredible success just comes from working harder than everyone else. But what if that's not the whole story? What if his real advantage is a hidden mental framework that almost nobody else is using? I mean, think about it. You've heard it a million times, right? Just grind it out, put in those 100-hour weeks, hustle till you drop. It's the story we're all told. But is that really the path to, world-changing success? Let's dig into that. And this is the core idea, right here. On one side, you've got what pretty much everyone believes. More effort equals more results. Simple. But on the other side, you have Musk's approach. And it suggests the real game isn't won by how hard you work, but by how you think. It's like he's running on a completely different operating system. I mean, just look at the sheer scale of what this guy is doing. He's running Tesla, literally changing the auto industry. At the same time, he's leading SpaceX, reinventing how we get to space. And that doesn't even touch on his other huge companies. Meanwhile, most of us are just trying to keep our heads above water with one job. So, what is the secret sauce here? If it's not just about outworking everybody, and let's be real, the guy works an insane amount, then what's giving him that unbelievable edge? The answer, the whole key, is all about how he approaches problems in the first place. And that's secret. It has a name. It's called first principles thinking. This is the heart of his framework. It's the master key he uses to unlock industries that haven't changed in decades. So what on earth is it? Well, to put it simply, it's about tearing a problem apart until you get down to the absolute most basic, undeniable truths. You get rid of all the assumptions, all the "that's just how it's done" baggage. Once you're down to that rock-solid foundation, then you start building your solution back up. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this is the complete opposite of how most of us operate. We usually think by analogy, by imitation. We look at what other people are doing and we figure, well, if they're doing it that way, it must be the right way. So we copy it. First principles thinking says, nope, forget what everyone else is doing. What are the fundamental truths here?
Let's use a real-world example to make this concrete. When Elon Musk started looking into going to Mars, he ran into a giant wall. The accepted wisdom, what everyone in the space industry believed, was that rockets are just insanely expensive. End of story. That's just the way it is.
But Musk didn't buy it. He went back to first principles. He asked a really simple question. Okay, but what are rockets actually made of? Well, the basic truths are things like aerospace-grade aluminum, titanium, copper, fuel. So he went and looked up the prices for those raw materials on the market. And what he found was mind-blowing. The cost of the raw materials was a tiny, tiny fraction of the price of a finished rocket. The undeniable truth wasn't that the stuff was expensive, it was that the process of putting it together was crazy inefficient. So he decided to build a whole new system from scratch. And the result of that thinking? SpaceX completely shattered the cost of building and launching rockets. It turned the entire aerospace industry on its head and made things like reusable rockets a reality. That is the power of this way of thinking. It doesn't just make things a little better, it can completely change the game. And this brings us to another key habit. You have to constantly ask, why? Why is it done this way? And if the only answer you get back is, because that's how we've always done it, well, that should be a massive red flag. It's a huge signal that you've just found an assumption pretending to be a fact, and it's just begging to be challenged. Okay, so let's build on this, because it doesn't stop there. Beyond just challenging assumptions, this framework is also about shifting your entire focus away from pure effort and onto building smart systems. It's a really subtle change, but the difference is profound. Think about it. Most of us are stuck in the effort trap. We think, I just need to work harder, work longer. It's like being a hamster on a wheel. You're running, and it's exhausting, but you're not actually getting anywhere new. Musk, on the other hand, is always thinking, how do I solve this problem for good? He builds a better system. You see, raw effort gives you linear results, but smart systems, they give you exponential growth that can scale and last. So this is all great, but how can you actually start using this in your own life? What's the takeaway here? Well, it can be broken down into a pretty simple 3-step blueprint. Okay, number 1, stop taking problems at face value. Break them down. Get to the absolute fundamental truths. Number 2, question everything relentlessly, especially the things that everyone knows are true. And number 3, shift your focus. Instead of just trying to solve problems by throwing more hours at them, think about how you can build a system to solve that problem permanently. When you really boil it all down, the main takeaway is this. This framework isn't about working less.
It's about making sure that all the hard work you do put in is aimed in the right direction, because you took the time to think differently from the very beginning.
And that's the real challenge, isn't it? It sounds simple, but it's incredibly hard to do in practice. It means you have to fight against convention, against your own habits. But being willing to think this way, that's what separates the great from the truly legendary.